The following is a special presentation of Retro Sports Network. Why, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and today on Retro Sports Network, we're going to do something a little different. You actually want to see me do some game action, and so I figured I would do the opening series in one video in Strat-o-Matic between the St. Louis Cardinals and New York Mets starting from April 8th, 1985. Why? Because these were the best two teams in baseball. And you get to see Dwight Gooden in his vintage year. And it just gives me an excuse to actually, record something and talk. I've decided, along with some of the projects that you see, to actually go through, we're not explaining extend the game, just do a manual. I've always wanted to do a manual season replay. And I wanted to go back to something basic. So I figured that Strat was a way to do that. This is I'm not sure what you can see on the top, but this is the 2014 version of Strat-o-Matic. It really doesn't matter because it's 1985, the season I'm playing. And I don't think they've actually done anything in the last few years with 85. 82 I know is redone. But look at this. You get Joaquin Andujar against Dwight Gooden from Shea Stadium.
Welcome to the stadium for today's ball game.
Nice picture of Shea. Oh, see, these are the default color pictures, and it's got Citi Field in it. As you can see, they're not really high resolution stuff here. All right, so here's the lineups for St. Louis. It's Lonnie Smith leading off in left field. Tommy Herr bats second and plays second. Terry Pendleton, the third baseman, bats third. Jack Clark, the first baseman, bats fourth. Darrell Porter, the catcher, bats fifth. Steve Braun bats sixth. Andy Van Slyke will bat seventh and play center. Ozzie Smith, the wizard, bats eighth, and Joaquin Andujar will bat ninth. On the hill is Dwight Gooden. We'll get to him. Oh my goodness gracious. We'll get to him in a second. Howard Johnson at third. Rafael Santana at short. Wally Backman at second. Keith Hernandez at first. Gary Kiner, first game I believe with the Mets, behind the plate. George Foster in left. Mookie Wilson in center. And Darryl Strawberry in right. And these two teams would pretty much spend the next 3 years or 4 years battling for supremacy in the National League East, which is why it's a good way to do that. And of course, Gooden was just the cat's meow in 1985. Let's take a look at his card, shall we? The game calculates the balks and the wild pitch ratings, and the E11 I'm not really concerned about. He'll carry a number 4 hitting card, but he actually will have his own hitting card. He has a point of weakness in Strat of 9, which means that every time out there, he could potentially throw a complete game. He did throw 277 innings in 1985 and 35 starts. No wonder why his arm burned out. He's an okay bunter. I assume that if you're watching this, you know how Strat works. But my goodness, look at that card. Remember, anything with a 7 next to it's going to be pretty much weighted. And so he's got a ground ball to second against a lefty on a 4. Ground ball, you can't get a hit off him on a 7 roll on his card. You got a 4-6 lefty walk and a 4-6 single 1-9 against a righty. And my God, that is just absolutely beautiful card. And if I've done my homework, this is all going to be pretty quick. So Lonnie Smith steps in, and the first dice roll of my National League season. I played most of the American League opening series. Is a 3-7, and as I build them up, that's a walk. I'm managing both teams. It's my decision to steal. I have ballpark setting on. I don't believe there's weather with this. The rules are set, but I don't believe 85 was set for weather, or at least not in the official version. So, stadium single and Shea, singles and homers are the same. It's a 1-star single, so if it's a single and a 1 base advance. 1-7 on a single and 1-9 on a homer will get you on. So here's Tommy Herr, and we'll just Tommy doesn't have a bad card either. You want to stay at that 3 column. There's a lot of walks there. And it is a 1. Oh, I can do that. 6, which is a fly out to center field. And I forgot to do one thing. Dice cards and splits. Is that what I want to do? No. Game preferences. Show board game information. All right. So the idea is, well, I'll get to that in a minute. All right. So it's 1 out for Pendleton, who was a 240 hitter, but still batted third. All right. It's in the 2 column. Homer's on a 2 and possibly a 3. 2-4. So triple 1 to 4. It's a single on the roll of 11. So first and third, 1 out for Jack Clark, who drove an 87 that year in 442 at-bats. Already got his pitch. It's in the 1 column. 8, 9, 11, and 12 is what he wants. A 4 is actually a home run chance, too. It's 11. So 1 to 7 will be a single. 18. That's a lineout. So 2 out for Daryl Porter. The runner's on first and third. This is not vintage good and so forth. The game doesn't work right. I'm kidding. 1-8 is a strikeout. So that's the way the first ends. Let's do the Mets lineup. It's Wally Backman leading off at second. Mookie Wilson will bat second. Keith Hernandez will bat third. Gary Carter cleans up. Darryl Strawberry in right. George Foster in left. Hojo is at third. Rafael Santana is at short, batting eighth. And Dwight Gooden will bat ninth and pitch. Lonnie Smith in left. Andy Van Slyke in center. He's got a good arm. Anything with a minus is a good arm. And Steve Braun in right field. Not great defenders. Pendleton at third. The Wizard at short. Tommy Herr at second. Jack Clark at first, and Daryl Porter, who won't be throwing out many base runners, and Joaquin Andahar, who went 21 and 12 in his own right in 85. John Tudor is the one that really wanted to see, but he'll go in game 2. So Backman, and let's see, 6 and 1 are the columns. That bottom of that 6 column is brutal on Andahar. See how Andahar has a single on a 4 and a 5 on a 7? I mean, those are the best chances. I think there's a 1 in 216 chance of any of these things happening. So a 7 roll is not good, especially with Backman. All right, so it's a 6. Uh-oh. Do you want it high? No, it's a 9. It's a straight double. So that's how it starts for the Mets. Here's Mookie Wilson. So Backman on second for Mookie. And let's see. Mookie's best column is a 6. Oh, yeah. That blue that you see, if you're not familiar with, this is pure, super advanced. There's no computer tricks here. It's all dice roll. There's no adjustment. We're not playing with the stats. It does kind of do things with the balks and the wild pitches. So you want to stay up. So for Cardinal fans, you want to stay off that 6 for the Andahar. And it's a 4. So that's a good sign. And it's a 4-2. So it's a walk. That's not good. Hernandez is up. 2 on, nobody out. And it's a 3 roll. That's actually going to be a decent roll for the Cards. On an 11, so it's a single on a 1 to 7. It is an 18, so it's a line out to second, and nobody moves up. That'll bring up Gary Carter in his first at bat in a Met uniform. Carter gets that 6 roll. But 6-5, so it's a struck him out. 2 out for Strawberry. Strawberry gets a 5 roll. Ooh, this is not good for the Mets. A 7 is the only automatic hit. And it's a 12, so it's a ground ball back to Andahar. And if you saw real quick the asterisk there, that's how they do the point of weakness for Andahar. So that's it for the Mets. So no runs, 1 hits, no errors. After 1, no score. All right, so Steve Braun, Andy Van Slyke, and Ozzie Smith. And that Gooden card, you want to get into any chance of him, it's got to be a 4 roll, especially against the lefties. Braun rolls a 5. This is pretty good for the match. 5-10. It's a single on a 1 to a 7. And it's a line drive to second for the out on the 16 roll. So I'll bring up Andy Van Slyke his first time up. Van Slyke gets a 5 roll again. Not a very good one against a lefty. 5-5. It's a single on a 1. It's an open card reading. So if you're playing open card, regular result would be a ground ball C. But this is a single on a 1. Everything else is an out. It's a 13. A line out to second for the second out. So here's Ozzie Smith with 2 out. He gets a good roll on a 3. No, he really doesn't. It's a 3-6, and it's a ground ball to first. It would have been a double play ball. So no runs, no hits, no errors. After 1.5, no score. So George Foster, Howard Johnson, and Rafael Santana here. Now, let me just play this inning out. Foster's a 6 roll. Remember, 6 high is good for the Mets. 6-9 is very good for the Mets. It's a triple on a 1. It's a 3, so it's a single, and Foster won't steal. Now the computer moves the base right, the infielder is as in, kind of like a house rule, so you don't cheat. They're going to hold Foster on. I'm not going to try to steal him, but that'll mean something on a next chance. So here's Hojo. Hojo gets a 2. That is not a good roll for him. 2-7 is strike 3, so that's the second strikeout for Andahar. Then I'll bring up Santana, who's not a good bunter. So I won't bunt. I thought about it. 4 roll. That's great. 4-9 is a walk. Oh! On that 4 card, he only has 2 automatic base chances. A walk on a 4-2 and a walk on a 4-9. And a lot of X plays. So defense is important. So I'll bring up Gooden with a 1 out. We will bunt. Count goes to 1 and 2. We'll stay with the bunt. And he does. It's a sac bunt to first. So he bunted it right to Clark, who flipped it over to her for the out 4-3. So 2 on, 2 out. Clutch situation. I think for Backman, the only clutch symbol on his card is a negative clutch on that 110. A single to center would turn into a line out for an out. So Mets have a chance here. It's a 1. Uh-oh. Good column otherwise. 1-4. So he gets a single chance. So ignore the ground ball of the pitcher. It's going to be a single or a line drive. Single on a 7. A 4. That's a single. So Foster scores. Santana goes to third. Backman can steal. We'll try that. And so the Mets jump out to a 1-0 lead. Let's see if we can get the lead. We're not doing a double steal. We do not get the lead, and we will not steal. All right, so Mookie Wilson, who walked his first time up. Mookie gets a 2. 8, 9, or 10 is what he wants to see. And it's a 6. That's a ground ball to short, and that ends the inning. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. After 2, 1-0 Mets. And so Andahar, they came up with individualized pitching cards. If you're familiar with the board game part of it, where pitchers were assigned a hitting card between 1 and 7. But because we're not actually printing anything, they actually came up with official pitcher hitting cards, and so it's not very good for Andahar. But he can get a double on a 2-4, and possibly a single. It's a double chance, and possibly a single on a 2-5. It is a 3, so it is a strikeout regardless of what the roll is. And that's 2 for Gooden today. 1 out for Lonnie Smith, who walked his first time up. It's a 6. Can't get a hit unless it's the next chance. 2-6-6 is a strikeout, so that's 3 for Gooden. And the crowd goes wild. Tommy heard the batter. Tommy flew out his first time up. Mets want to see that 6. It's a 1. The only automatic hit. There are no automatic hits here. 1-7 struck him out. Strike 3. So Gooden takes care of the side in the third after 2.5. It's 1-0 New York. So Keith Hernandez, the batter. And he lined out his first time up. He gets a 1. That's a very good roll. Hit chances all the way from 5 to 10. It's a 4. It's a ground ball to second. And in fact, it would have been a double play if anyone was on. All right. Gary Carter, the batter. Gary struck out his first time up. And he gets a 6, which is a good roll on Andahar. 6-6 or 6-8, pardon me. It's a double on a 1-7. It's a 13. That's a single. And wow, Carter can actually steal. He has a 6% chance of getting the lead here. Let's see what happens. He cannot get the lead. And we won't do it. So the dice roll to Strawberry, who's 0 for 1. It's a 4. It's a 4-7. That's a single. Carter moves up 1 base. So first and second, 1 out for Foster, who singled his first time up. 5th hit allowed by Andahar. And the stadium crowd, if you could hear it, would be going pretty bonkers right about now. Foster gets a 3 roll. Okay, hit chances on a 5 through an 8. No injury on that 12. You see the HBB by injury. We don't do injuries because we're doing real lineups, so no injuries. It is a 12, so he gets hit but no injury. Oof. All right, so that brings up, I say that enough. Howard Johnson, Hojo struck out his first time up. Andahar in trouble here in the third. The dice, the first roll is a 5, and the only thing that's an automatic hit is a 7. It is a 9. And so it's a sac fly to center. That will score the run, and it makes it 2-0 New York. Mets would like to have more than one here. Here's Rafael Santana. Pitch to him, that's a 4. So a walk chance on a 2 or a 9. Or a walk on a 2 or a 9. It is a 7. So it's a ground ball to second X. Now this is super advanced X chart. So Strawberry is being held on. So those number signs that you see, anything from 1, it's going to do 2 things. It's going to pretend to roll the 20-sided die. So it's a hit on a 1 through an 8. And the dice roll is a 2. So it's a 2-base single. Now let's see. Now they technically roll all 3 die together. And it came out to a 14. So a single, everyone moves up 2, and then there's an error on the play. So Strawberry and Foster Foster holds at third, pardon me. So single air 4, E4. Santana moves to second. That makes it 3-0. And so Gooden is up with a 3-run lead. Gooden had the sack bunt, so we didn't look at his hitting card. That one column isn't bad. In fact, he has a homer chance on a 4. And 3 automatic singles. That's pretty good. He rolls a 2, so it's going to be an out. And no, it's not. It's the one thing on the card that was actually a hit chance. So 1 through 7 is a 1-base single. It's a 2. So that's a single. 1-base single means that the runners only advance a base. So 7 hits now allowed by Andahar. And that makes it 4-0 Mets. You're going to give Dwight Gooden 4 runs in 1985. You're nuts. Here's Backman. He doubled his first in the first and singled in the second and drove in the first run. Here's the pitch. It's a 2, so that's a possible good sign for the Mets. It's a 2-9. It's a single 1-6. It's a 2. That's a single. Gooden will hold at second, and it's 5-0 New York. And then I'll bring up Mookie Wilson, who walked and grounded out. Andahar, if he was really pitching this game, would be spitting bullets. Just absolutely beside himself. Here's the pitch. It's a 5 roll. A 7 is the only thing that can legitimately hurt him automatically. It is a 12. It's a ground ball back to Andahar to retire the side. So the Mets leave him 5 runs and on 8 hits for the Mets. No runs on a hit and an error for the Cardinals. So we go to the top of the 4th. It's 5-0 New York. So it'll be Terry Pendleton, Jack Clark, and Darrell Porter as we start the 4th. Roll is a 2. That's what Pendleton wants to see. A automatic homer on a 2 and a homer chance on a 3. It is an 8 fly ball to center, 1 out. Jack Clark 0 for 1. Jack he's in power against a righty, but he's got 2 home run chances. A pretty good one on a 1 on a 1-8 roll and a stadium chance on a 3-10. The roll is a 3. That's a good roll for Clark. The result is a 4, and that's a ground ball to third. So 2 out. Even when the runners get their chance, it's not an automatic hit. So here's Porter. He struck out, 1 of 4 for Gooden. And that's a 1, and that's a good roll for Gooden. Unless it's a 2 or a 3, it is a 5, and then there's ground ball to second to retire the side. Again, a clean inning for Gooden. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 5-0. So Hernandez, Carter, and Strawberry here in the 4th, and Keith has lined out and grounded out. It's a 3 roll, which is pretty good. It's a 3-8. That's not pretty good. That's a ground out to second. I believe that was the roll he had the last time. Gary Carter 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. A 4 is a good roll for Andujar. 4-6 is a strikeout. That's a great roll for Andujar. So that's the 3rd for Joaquin. 2 out for Strawberry, who is 1 for 2. Ground out in a single. Has a clear home run on a 1-8 and a 90% chance of a homer on a 1-9 roll. And on a 3-5, it's a stadium home run chance. It is a 1. It is a 7. So it's ball 4, and Strawberry will try to steal here. Has a 42% chance of getting the lead. He does not, but I will try to steal anyway. So 1-13. Porter's going to throw. Here it is. It's a 9. It's a stolen base. So Strawberry moves to second. 2 out for Foster, who has an okay card. He's singled and hit by a pitch. He gets a 2. That's not what he wants to see. It's a 2-7. It's a single. It's exactly what he wants. Wow. Strawberry will score. They will not risk a throw. They'll hold Foster on to first, and it's a 6-0 game for Hojo, who has struck out in a sac fly. Here's the pitch. The roll is a 4. And it's a 4-10, so it's a ground ball to third. Now, Pendleton has a 2 rating. I don't know if they're holding Foster or not. It does matter. So 1-6 is a hit on the first roll. And that's a clean single. And the 3 dice roll is a 7. So he'll reach, and that'll bring up Santana, and that's enough for Andujar. So let me change the pitcher here. Any pitcher with a symbol is going to pitch sometime soon. If Bob Force can be my long reliever? Yeah, he can be. Opening day, pretty much anyone that's not going to start's available. So Andujar goes back to the dugout team, but he's responsible for at least 6 runs, and there's 2 on with 2 out for Santana, who, there's only 1 strikeout against righties on Forsh's card. He threw 136 innings and struck out 48. There are 2 automatic walks. Pitch is on Santana's card. It's a 3. It's a clutch, so the only way he can reach is on a 3-4. It is a 3-4, And now it's a 1-7. Here it is. It's a 16. Line drive ends the inning. So the Mets get a run on 2 hits after 4. It's 6-0 New York. So here's the box score on Andahar. 3 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. He walked 3 and struck out 3 in front of 32,326. It gives you umpires and everything. That's pretty good. So that's a look at the box score so far. All right, so it's Steve Braun, Andy Van Slyke, and Ozzie Smith. Forceful bat here in the 5th if needed. Braun rolls a 1, and that's a pretty good column. 4-10 is a hit by pitch. So Gooden plunks Braun, and that starts the 5th inning. Here's Van Slyke. He's 0 for 1. He lined out. A 1-hitter for Gooden so far. That's a 4. If you're going to get Gooden with a lefty, that's the roll to get. 4-4 is a base hit, a double on a 1. It is a single on a 7. Braun goes to 3rd, and so the Cardinals threaten here with a wizard here in the 5th. Nobody out. Roll is a 6. You cannot get an automatic hit here. 6-4 is a catcher X. Let's see what happens here. Carter could misplay this, and the Cardinals could get a run on a wild pitch. Is it a wild pitch? I think it is. It is a wild pitch, so Braun will score. Van Slyke goes to 2nd. No shutout, and we'll get another roll here. It's now 6-1. Ozzie rolls a 2. Again, that's not a great roll. 2-3 is a line out to short. So 1 out for Bob Forge. Who will bunt, and he pops it out to Gooden. 2 out for Lonnie Smith, who was 0 for 1. He walked and struck out. Lonnie rolls a 1. That's a great column for him to roll into. 1-3. That's a single on a 1 to a 7. It is a 9, and the inning is over. So a run on a hit for the Cardinals. They get on the board, but halfway home it's still 6-1. So here's Gooden. He singled and bunted, and it has an RBI. He had 9 on the year. On the 2, he cannot get automatically on, but he does get the 2-4 roll. That's how he got a single the last time. 1-7, it's a 3. It's another single for Gooden. And then I'll bring a backman who has singled twice, driven in 2, and doubled. A 2 roll. Well, that's a decent column. 2-4, ground out to short on the fielder's choice. That's what a ground ball shortstop B is. So Gooden is forced at 2nd. Backman on 1st, 1 out. Backman will try the steal, does not get the lead, and we do not try it. Mookie Wilson the batter. Mookie walked and grounded out twice. Here's a 1-column roll. Upper ones are good. 1-5 is a single to right. Backman will go to 3rd. We'll let Backman have 3rd and we'll hold Mookie on 1st. So runners on the corners, 1 out for Keith Hernandez, who is lined out and grounded out twice. Hernandez is on that 4 column. There's some good ones, 6, 7, and 8. It is a 5. It is a sac fly to center field, and it makes it 7-1 New York. So I'll bring up Gary Carter with 2 outs. I won't try to steal. It's a 1 roll for Carter. That's what the Cardinal fans want to see. 1-3 is a plunk. It's the only automatic base running or way to get on base on that column, and he did. So it'll bring up Strawberry, who is 1 for 2. He scored twice, grounded out, singled, and walked. 6-9, ground out to second base, and that'll do it. So the Mets get another run. We've played 5 full. It's 7-1. I guess I won't do the whole series in one video. Unless it's a 2-game set. I forget. All right. Tommy Hart, the batter. Tommy is 0 for 2. He is flown out and struck out. Gooden through 5, 2 hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. And there is a two roll. 2-7, that's a single. So her singles and the Cardinals being down 18,000 runs. Will try, and he gets his lead. Throw down from Carter is safe. It was a 1-14 chance, 70% chance. 1860, yeah, so he barely got in there. So a stolen base for her, and it's a runner on second for Pendleton. Terry gets a 4, has a prayer of a chance on that roll. 7, ground ball to second. They're holding him, so 1-8 is a hit. 20 is an 18, so he's out that way. Now the 3-die rolls are 13. So her will move to third, but Beckman makes a tough play. 1 out for Jack Clark, who is lined out and grounded out. 6 cannot be an automatic base runner here. 5 struck him out. 5 for Gooden. And here's Porter, who was struck out and grounded out. First roll was a 2. That's the right column for the Cardinals. It's a 7, so it's a double on an 11, or a 1-11. It's a 1, so it's a double, and it's 7-2 New York now. That'll bring up Steve Braun. First roll was a 1. That's a pretty good column to be into. And a 12. It's a foul out to Carter. And the Cardinals are done. 1 run on 2 hits and no errors. 5.5 in the books. It's 7-2 New York. Here's Foster. He's 2 for 2 with and hit by a pitch. Pitch from Forsch is a 2 in the 2 column. 2-7, an automatic single. 13 hits for the Mets. Here's Hojo, 1 for 2. Gets on a 2 column as well. Not a great column for Hojo. It's a 6, and that's a 6-4-3 double play. That's what Forsch wanted, as he'll probably be, this will be his last. Santana or Gooden will be it. Santana gets a 6, and that's what you want off of Forsch. 6-7, draws ball 4. But we're not going to steal Santana. Gooden can't run on 2 out. It's a 4 roll, so it's another potential hit here. Gooden is 2 already. 7, it is a hit. And they won't throw. So Wally Beckman, the batter, 3 for 4 and on a force. Forsch on a 2 roll. 2-6. That's a ground ball to second to retire the side. They don't score, but they leave 2 on. After 6, it's 7-2. So Van Slyke, Ozzie Smith, and Bob Forsch. Van Slyke rolls a 4. That's what you want off a Gooden card. A 4-4. That's a base hit. It's a double on a 1. It's a single, and that's the 5th hit for the Cardinals. Now Van Slyke will try to run. Actually, we're going to hit and run with Ozzie. So chance for a hit 27. Sometimes it rolls off the chart that you can't see, or sometimes it's off the card. The hit and run is on. It's on the card. It's a fly ball to center. So it's a hit on a 1, 2, or 3, but Mookie can be an adventure out there defensively. So let's resolve the 20-sided dice. Okay, so it's a fly out to center and no error. And so nobody moves, and we will pinch hit for Forsch. I don't know why he's not playing. But when you have a 353 hitter on your bench, that's when you use him. So Willie McGee comes in to pinch hit. And look at that card against righties. That 1 column, all that blue is good. Not a clutch situation. Has an automatic single on a 6 on a 2. And that 3 column won't hurt him either. Here's the pitch. It's on a 4 column, so it's got as good as good as good as you can expect off of Gooden. That's what I wanted to say. Fly ball, fly ball left field X. Foster is not very good. On a 20-sided die, only a 1 through 11 is a hit. The 20-sided die roll is an 8, so that's a single and advancement of 2. No error on the 3-6 die roll, or the 3d6. It's not a run, but runners on first and third and 1 out for Lonnie Smith, who walked, struck out, and lined out. Lonnie on a 5 column. That is delightful for Gooden. And on a 7, it's a ground ball to Santana. So 1 through 8 is a single, as the runner is held at third. It is a clean single. Santana can't get there, and there's an error. Oh, Gooden is upset. So Van Slyke scores. McGee goes to third. Smith goes to second, and it's 7-3. And so let's see what Tommy Herr does, who's 1 for 3. He does not get his pitch. 5 roll, 5-7. Again, it's a ground ball to Santana. Same result as before. It is a 2-base single, so both the runners will score, and it's 7-5. So Herr is on first, and the Cardinals have taken advantage of some shoddy defense by Foster and Santana, and have cut what looked like an easy win to a very close game. So Herr will try it, does not get the lead, and will not go. So Pendleton is 1 for 3. Single fly on the ground out. It's a 2 roll. This could be good. A 2-3 is very good. It's a tie game on a 1-6 roll. 17. It's a fly out to right field. And Gooden breathes a big sigh of relief. Here's Clark. 0 for 3. And it's a wild pitch. See, I don't have any control over that. Now, it's a 3 roll. 5 through 10 are hit chances at least. On a 7, it's a walk. So the go-ahead run is at the plate and Porter. Boy. So technically Gooden is not tired. But boy, oh boy, is it close. I mean, Davey Johnson used him a ton. I mean, there's a reason why his fatigue rating starts in the 9th inning. Pitch to Porter is a 6. He's going to get out of this, I think. It's a 6-7. It's a strikeout. Oh, a big sigh of relief as Gooden gets his 6th of the game. So I got to bring in a pitcher. Do I want to do a double switch? Yeah, I'm going to. What can McGee play? Oh, you can only play center. Van Slyke. All right. Okay, Van Slyke to left. McGee to center. So Campbell will technically lead off and bat first. He would bat 5th in the 8th inning if the Cardinals do anything. All right, so Campbell good 5 and 6 column. That 4 is pretty rough. Mookie Wilson 1 for 3. And Mookie rolls a 1 and a 3. It's a walk. And he's going. He doesn't matter. He couldn't get the lead, but he'll attempt it anyway. One to 16, a save. It is 7, so Mookie Wilson steals the bag. And so Campbell already has a runner in scoring position with nobody out for Hernandez, who has not reached yet today, but does have a sac fly and an RBI. 1 column, that's what he wants. It's a 1-5. It's a homer, 1 to 7. It is a double to make it 8 to 5, New York. And then I'll bring up Gary Carter, who is 1 for 3. So the single and the stolen base pays off as the Mets manufacture a run here in the bottom of the 7th. Pitch to Carter. Yeah, it's a 6 column. That's pretty good for Campbell. And it's a ground ball right back to Campbell. Single on a 1, 2, or 3. It's an error you got to watch out for here. He fields it. Nope, he boots it. So that's the second error of the game for the Cardinals. So they're playing in for Strawberry. 2 column. That's what Cardinal fans want to see. No, it's not. It's a 2-8. It's a triple on a 1 to a 4. It is a 20. That's a single. And it's now 9 to 5. And so Campbell hasn't retired anybody yet. Here's Foster. Single 3 times and hit by a pitch. On a 2, it is a 9 for a ground out to third. So Strawberry moves to second. Hojo the batter. Hojo 1 for 3. Along with that sac fly. So it's a 2. That's a pretty good roll for Campbell. 2-5 is a ground out to first. Carter is out at the plate. It's a fielder's choice. So score at 3-2. Or it's a fake game. Why would you score anyway? So 2 out. People complain about that, but you know what? It really doesn't matter. You're up 4 runs. I can see why people would be upset, but that's the way the rules have been for a long time. Here's Santana 1 for 2. He has walked twice, singled an error, and a line drive. Pitch from Campbell is a 3. That's what Campbell wants to see. 3-8 is a line drive to short to retire the side. So the Mets get 2 more. After 7, it's 9 to 5. Here's Braun. He's 0 for 2 with a run scored. With a hit by pitch. So it's a 3. That's what Gooden wants to see. 3-12. It's a homer on a 9. 1 to 9. High fly ball to right, but it'll stay in the yard. 1 out. So I was going to bring in the pen, but with a 4-run lead, Davey would have left him in. He hasn't pitched well, but he's still pitching well enough for the win. Van Slyke is 2 for 3 with a run scored. Single twice. 3-7. Ground ball to second. 2 out. Ozzie Smith, the batter. Ozzie's 0 for 3. Gooden delivers. That's a 6. And that's a 4. So it's a catcher to Carter. Carter is a very good defensive catcher. It's a foul out. Does he drop it? No. So the side is retired. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is still New York 9, St. Louis 5. So it'll be Gooden, who is 3 for 3. Do I pinch hit? Yeah, what the? No, I'll let him hit. What the hell? It's on a 1 column. Is he going to go 4 for 4? He is. He singles. So Dwight Gooden goes 4 for 4. And they'll bring up Wally Beckman, who's 3 for 5 with a double. 2 singles, 2 RBI. Campbell delivers. It's a 2 column. That's a good one for Campbell. Maybe 2-7. That's a single. Gooden will hold. And then I'll bring up Mookie, who's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch. It's on a 1 column. That's potentially good for Mookie. 1-4 is a ground ball double play. 1-6-3. No injury. You saw the injury thing pop up. It's not. And so there's 2 out for Hernandez, who's 1 for 4. He has 2 RBI. He's a 3. That's an okay column for him. Some walks. 4-5 is a walk, or 3-5 is a walk. So that brings up Carter. A long 2 innings for Campbell. He's really taking one for the team now. Carter on a 3 column. That 3-6 is an automatic home run. It is a 3-2. He fouls out to Porter. So we go to the 9th. It's New York 9, St. Louis 5. Good and looking for the complete game. Here's McGee, who's 1 for 1. He singled in the 7th. It's a 6. It's a 7. It's a strikeout. So 7 for Gooden. And a pinch hitter for St. Louis. Juan De Jesus. Oh, look at all the doubles on that card. You won't see it because there's nothing good on that 2 for him at all. Line out to 3rd. 2 out. Place is standing for Tommy Herr. Gets a good column, but does not get the good result. It's a fly out to center field, and that's the ball game. I forgot to do this part. And so the final score, 9-5 New York. 9 runs, 18 hits in an error for New York. 5 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors for St. Louis. Took 3 hours and 11 in front of 32,326. Gooden goes the distance. Doesn't pitch that well, but he goes the distance. And a hard done in the 4th with Forsch and Campbell just not really all that effective. Every Met had a hit. Backman and Gooden had 4. So the game summary, Wally Beckman had 4 hits and 2 RBI, and Dwight Gooden went the distance as the New York Mets defeated the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 9-5 at Shea Stadium. Gooden won an undelivered a fine performance. Not really. He went 9, allowing 8 and 2 walks. New York banged out 18 on the afternoon. Joaquin Andujar absorbed the loss. He goes to 0-1, allowed 10 hits and 3 walks in 3 2/3 innings. Aha! You get me at the end of the game. So I won't do the second game because it took a little longer than I thought. One of the basic things, let me look at the camera on. One of the things I was kind of hoping to do with all this was just to have a replay for me. I'll share some of these with you. We'll figure out something. It's a basic replay. It's cards and dice. You can tell from my thing that, I have to play most of my games on the computer. But this was the engine I started. Let me get my screen squared away. There, that's better. And my computer's running a little hot. This was the game I cut my teeth on back when I was in college. This was the first cards and dice baseball game I played. And, it's not, we can quibble about game engines and all stuff, but it plays a very good, decent game of baseball. We can get into that more as I go through this. Through the replay, and I'll be sharing my results from you. I'm not sure how often, but, often enough. But it's fun. This type of game requires imagination. And as good as the pure computer games are, and I still love Action PC Baseball, this is one of the ones that requires imagination. So when you see those split dice roll and then spin in there, and you know that a good thing happens on a 2, and a bad thing happens on a 3, and then when that 3 pops up, you can kind of picture the great play in your mind, or whatever. That's the sort of thing that kind of draws you to it. And this was the season that they played the summer I turned 14. I turned 14 in November of '85. And they tell you that you care more about sports at the age of 14 than you do at any other age. And that's, I think, absolutely true. A lot of times I'll look at some of the, even today when I'm covering a ball game, I don't know all the players. And when I'm doing some of the the 64 stuff for Action PC. I don't necessarily know all the players, but I enjoy the time and the era and a good game. But these are the players I know by heart and remember sitting there in the chair on a Saturday afternoon watching Game of the Week, or snoozing through a Braves game on TBS. Fancy, we got a WGN on cable too. So in the Mets as well. I watched a lot of Met games in that era, and not so many Red Sox games because they didn't have it. But these are the games that everyone does it differently, and if you're younger, you'll be nostalgic for whatever came up for you. So there's absolutely inherently nothing wrong with any of the other game engines. But for me, this was the one I grew up, I cut my teeth on and enjoy. And it's basically I know that you can do that with it's not Diamond Mine, Digital Diamond. I think is a pure cards and virtual cards and dice port, an inside pitch which I haven't played. And I know there's replay out there, but they don't make a lot of seasons for replay. I wanted something that I could just kind of whip through games in about 10 to 15 minutes, and have some fun with, because it's important to de-stress and all that. So the Mets won this one 9-5. I will not do the second game here because I think I've taken over a half hour. But I will, from time to time, drop in some of these games because they're kind of fun to do. And I imagine that you're kind of like me in your mid-40s, and this was the year that you grew up on. Certainly, we'll keep you updated on how the replay is going. But as you know, replays are kind of finicky things. You start full bore on some, and then they kind of peter out. If you're wondering, I'm using the last patched version of Strat-o-Matic Baseball 2014. I wasn't about to plunk down $70 for the card option if I didn't need to, because 85 worked with this version of 85 worked without having to update. You'll get a surprise this week. I'm going to upload at least the rest of the 64s and try to get some of those in, the new ones. So I do want to get the 64 in. We're almost at the All-Star break, which you'll see in the 3 weeks that I have. And there's some good pennant races there. So thanks for being patient with me, and we'll try to get some Red Sox games in, and I might actually, any suggestions, always glad to hear them. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Ron Juckett for Retro Sports Network. We'll talk to you the next time.